What's going on, guys? I am Ryan, Michigan Storm Chasers here, back again for an update video. We have some important things to talk about in regards to today's forecast. Let's go ahead and dive right on in, starting with our temperatures across the state today. We're expecting mid to upper 30s for much of lower Michigan, or we might sneak close to 40 down there by like Niles and Berrien County, down there way far southwest lower Michigan. We may be getting close to that 40-degree mark, but I will say going into the future here, the next several days of temperatures look very fantastic for January standards. We're going to be touching 40 roughly around that Thursday time frame, and again to start that February time frame, second and third perhaps being in the 40s as well. Overall, milder pattern continues here. Going into the short term though, we do have a lot to talk about for today, starting with the potential for some snow squalls tonight, but also before I get to that, the heavy wind potential for today. Let's go ahead and dive into the wind potential. Let's go ahead and look at the surface to 10 meter knot, or the 10 meter gusts here. These are surface winds up to speeds, so it's not like sustained. These are just your gusts, so to speak. The green here showing 40 to 50, the yellow showing 50 plus mile per hour winds. We're going to notice here across much of the UP, these winds are already ongoing, as well as northern lower Michigan, perhaps even the thumb as well. But as we move into the day today, that will shift slowly southward here, moving through the lower peninsula. And as that moves down further south, we may sneak gusts between 40 and 50 miles per hour across pretty much all of Michigan. This is going to be valid and peaking during the afternoon hours today. Although the winds are currently ongoing now, they will overspread and get stronger through the afternoon hours. So as we move into 3, 4, 5 p.m., they'll be at their peak intensity. Isolated power outages would be possible with this wind, as well as some minor tree damage. Also, places like the Mackinac Bridge are close to high-profile vehicles, so just keep that in mind if you are traveling to the bridge today. It's going to be pretty windy out there. With this, though, we are concerned later this evening for a potential snow squall. What a snow squall basically is a thin band of really heavy snow. Let's go ahead and move this into the time frame. Let's go ahead and stop it right about here. We're noticing up in northern Michigan, we have a band or a line, so to speak, of snow that is sagging southward here through the state. As this moves southward, that's going to combine with some strong gusty winds, and it will promote low visibility, 1 to 2 inch per hour snowfall rates for a brief time, as well as conditions like blizzards, or blizzard-like conditions. I'm backwards today, guys. Blizzard-like conditions, as well as rapidly deteriorating road conditions as this squall moves through. And also expect wind gusts with this squall to be quite potent as well. This is going to be a very hazardous situation for those of you on the roads this evening for the snow squall is going to affect. So it starts up here in the UP, roughly around, we back this up here. This is roughly around 4 p.m. Eastern time. This is 5 p.m. here. Here's 6 p.m. And by 7 p.m., it's starting to sag southward into the northern lower peninsula. As this moves south, this is 8 p.m. Here's 9. Here's 10 p.m. Here's 11. And then it starts to weaken here as we get closer to that Mount Pleasant Tri-City area. So here's 11. Here's midnight. Notice two things here. This band is weakening, but we also have lake effect snow starting to ramp up here for the UP as well. So two things to note there, but continuing to watch that snow squall. Here is 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and by roughly 3 a.m. or so, the model has this thing completely gone, but it does make it as far south there as Lansing and perhaps Oakland, Macomb counties. So we're going to keep an eye on that and see how far that drops south. But overall, accumulations with this snow band or the snow squall will be quite light in nature, but it will be a heavy snow. It's just going to last for a brief amount of time, like a really big burst of snow, so to speak. The big concern for accumulations is going to be lake effect snow behind that, as we noticed here up in the northern lower and also the eastern UP as well. That particular zone will be watched for potential for accumulations, and the model here does show quite a lot of accumulation. We're going to likely say it's overdone here. So starting with tonight, this is the snowfall with that snow squall. we're seeing very minor accumulations across much of northern lower Michigan and perhaps 2 to 4 up there in the eastern part of the UP. But as we move, if we were to go into overnight into Tuesday morning, that lake effect snow really starts to ramp up here. Then we have a second system that moves through, like a clipper system that moves through for our Tuesday afternoon, which could dump another 2 to 3, 4 inches of snow in spots. This model is likely overdone, but it shows a wide area of accumulation close to 8+ inches. I'm not going to say it's going to be 15, likely going to be between probably 4 and 8 when all is said and done. We're going to have to analyze everything in detail. We'll have a forecast posted later today, but overall accumulations between now and we're going to say Wednesday for the eastern part of the UP will be roughly probably between 4 and 8 inches. And then northern lower, 2 to 4, isolated higher, definitely possible. And then also further west with that clipper system, 2 to 4 will be the forecast as well. Again, we'll have more information coming later today on this potential snowfall. Let's go ahead and dive into the long term. We have not really focused in too much on this system that people are talking about for the weekend. We mentioned it briefly on yesterday's video, but overall keeping you guys updated here with the European model showing systems across the US. There's our first system for tonight. Moving off to the east, it's going to drop some snow across the state. Second clipper system for tomorrow afternoon and into Wednesday morning. And then attention turns down here to Oklahoma, this particular area, for a developing system that's going to track up our direction. This is Thursday morning. Let's go ahead and move up into Friday morning here. We're going to notice that low pressure system centered over the Ohio Valley here where that red L is. Rain to the south. We could have some severe weather here in Dixie Alley, but we're on the north side of this precip shield, so we're going to be watching our temperatures very closely here. Can we trend cold enough for snow? Right now it's not looking likely, but temperatures will drop, which could promote some wet, heavy snowflakes mixing in as this system moves into Friday night, especially as temperatures drop. So we could add perhaps a quick inch or two of slushy accumulation, but does this look like a big system? It doesn't. But I will say, if you're a snow lover, there is some hope on the horizon going into the very long term here, into this upcoming weekend, into the early next week. A second system comes through, much like a clipper system, dumps some snow again for northern lower Michigan, some rain for southern lower Michigan, and this moves into the east coast there. And then a second, or should I say a third system develops here roughly around the February 6th timeframe that could bring all modes of precip as well. So active pattern continues into the first week of February. We're going to have chances of precipitation. The big question, are we going to be cold enough for snow, or is it going to be warm enough for rain, or perhaps a mix of both rain or snow, and perhaps even some sleet or freezing rain potential there, depending on our temperatures. So we're going to watch the next 10 to 15 days very closely. The activity will continue here. The big thing to watch will be temperatures.